Welcome to the latest episode of the Dell Technologies Technical Series podcast. My name's Rick McEvoy from TD SYNNEX. This is the first video podcast that we've done. And what I always like to do when I'm trying something for the first time is have both my boss and my boss's boss in the room while I'm doing it. So in honour of that, I think it's time for some introductions from my guests. I'm going to start with friend of the audio podcast, one of my first guests on there, Mr. Jake Fielden. So Jake, tell the people who you are and what you do.
So I'm Jake Fielden. I'm Technical Practice Manager here at TD SYNNEX UK for Dell Technologies. So anything data center wise on the enterprise side I look after. My main job is looking after the pre-sales team, which Rick is a core member of.
Core member, like that. Not just any old member.
Absolutely.
It's on your
Like
business
it.
card, right? I think
It needs to be, if we did business cards. And so on to you, Mr. Brown. Take it away. Who
Thanks.
are you? What do you do?
Andy Brown. I'm the Technical Services Director. So I work for the Advanced Solutions business within TD SYNNEX, responsible for pre-sales strategy across our vendors and our professional services after the point of sale. And I'm a newbie to both forms, audio and video of this podcast, so very much looking forward to contributing today. So thanks for the invitation.
That's okay. Long time listener, first time contributor.
That's it.
There we go. Like it. Well, we're sat here today in Bracknell in our Business Solutions Centre, so I thought who better to talk to about this facility than you two, really. So first up, Andy, I think it's been a bit of a refit on the Business Solutions Centre. So firstly, what is it? Why do we have it, and what's the purpose of it?
So interestingly enough, so the BSc we sat in today, we were in here 2 weeks ago with a gang of students from Garfield College, and I said welcome to the BSc, and all of them to an individual started sniggering and laughing and commenting to each other. And apparently in Garfield College in Bracknell, the BSc is the equivalent of their detention when they've done things wrong in school. But not in this case. This is the Business Solutions Centre, where we support our partners and our vendors standing up technology solutions. For me, one of the key differentiators that a distributor can make supporting the channel is that position of independence around the technology choice. So for us being one step removed from the vendors, for me, that allows us to incorporate those best of breed solutions within a facility like this, so that our partners can support kind of technical motions and proof of technology, proof of concept, enablement and training in a centre like this. And Dell Technology is a big supporter of ours, Jake, right, in terms of the technologies that we've put into the centre?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 2 full racks of Dell Enterprise gear in there, covering hyperconverged, covering primary storage, both block and file, as well as a lot of the data protection solutions as well. So Dell are big investors within the BSc itself to be able to stand up those various areas of technology and demonstrate those as well, and enable our customers on those various technologies as well. Absolutely.
And timing-wise, we invested in this in the second half of 2019 with the view to going full launch in Q1 or calendar Q1 of 2020, and we all know what happened there. So eventually we were able to physically launch this facility under this new guise, but we were limited to virtual capability and capacity for a period of time. But glad to be fully open now and supporting our partners in it.
Yeah, I think that's a couple of things from that are quite key for us within the Dell business is that ability to work both on site in the BSc and remotely, because we help partners across the country, across numerous verticals. And I think the point that you made, Andy, about that step removed from the vendor and allowing us to look at a wider solution with different technology stacks integrating is vital for partners. Because as much as ourselves in the Dell business unit or the Dell Technologies business unit, we'd love to sell someone an end-to-end Dell badge solution, but let's talk real life here. It doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen as often as we would like. So that cross-pollination of vendor stacks is vital, right?
Exactly, and most tier 1 vendors such as Dell Technologies, make the their bread really on integration across. As you say, it's very rare that our partners are going to be selling into a greenfield site. There's always going to be some level of technology already within there, and it's important that we can demonstrate that what we're proposing from the Dell Technology side is going to seamlessly integrate into their current environment, be that a Veeam backup solution, be that VMware, attaching into a primary storage array. Being able to demonstrate how that's going to work and hopefully how simple that's going to be to set up is a key value add point that we can add into that sales cycle and hopefully overcome any objections or worries that might be there in place at the time. Shorten that sales cycle and make things a little bit easier for our partners.
Yeah, and I think it's really vital that we can do it both in person and remotely, right? So we've got a team here supporting people to come into the BSC and see these technologies in action. But equally, even the less skilled members of our team, such as myself, are perfectly able to log in remotely and show people this technology over Zoom or Teams or whichever video conferencing flavour is your preference.
Yeah, and it's 3 northern members of the team sat around this table. So, we've got Liverpool, Manchester and Leeds based around here. So being able to do that remotely, as you say, log in securely and provide those logins for our partners as well is a huge part of it. Although, I still end up and down the M1 quite frequently coming in to meet with our partners within the facility as well, for those that are closer by and want to come in and see the facility itself and get their hands a little bit dirtier.
Well, that's almost lead me on to the next point, really. So when we speak to partners and go out and visit partners wherever they may be in the country, it's the other benefit of having this facility, right, is our partners can bring their customers to it, can hold events here. Even our vendors run sales events here, right? So the kit's all here. It all looks pretty cool. There's a big glass wall out this door. Lots of flashing lights. I'm banging into it. And we had a partner in here yesterday. 2 of them had already been, but the other 3 hadn't. And I presented to them for 3 hours, and I'm not sure anyone needs that in their life. But we managed to break it up by going and standing for 10 minutes looking at all the kit. That's the kind of people we are, I feel. So that's always a bit of a bonus. And being able to host sales meetings, customer events, even for our northern partners, we find a lot of interest in trying to expand into new areas, and having this location that we can allow them to use is really handy for them, right?
Yeah, so it's always good to have a central point of, we've got the equipment here, as you say, but numerous meeting rooms, event space, drinks facilities, lunch and everything that we need nearby to be able to facilitate events and meetings and enablement sessions, anything, from a couple of people coming in to have a chat with yourself or Nick around an individual product set or solution that they might want demoing, all the way up to what Andy said around, hosting a huge gaggle of kids and other events that we've run out of the facility. So it scales quite well from very small to very large quite easily.
Yeah, we can think of a couple of use cases recently where we've taken complementary products to what is core in the Dell Technologies set, and a partner has had a specific need for integration of those technologies, be it from a training point of view or to support in a particular deal. And that's the kind of stuff that you've done working in collaboration, for example, with the cloud teams, where it's a common complementary hyperscaler vendor, and we can bring those technologies together, where we know that sometimes the vendor or the partner themselves struggle to be able to set that kind of thing up. So that's where we've seen a bit of success recently with that type of thing.
And I think if we look at the BSC in that context, it's a really good advert for the technical community that we have in Advanced Solutions. I don't want to talk too much about the technical community because that's really kind of your baby there, Mr. Brown. So do you want to give the listeners a bit of an overview?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, we've got for those that are on the Betamax format watching and consuming this content, then they can see the screen behind us. But that's our value proposition, the technical engagement continuum. However, for me, it all stems from the trusted advisor bit. So the core strategy of the business is to be a trusted advisor for our partners, and the investments that we make, whether it's the Business Solution Centre, it's the expertise and the depth of specialism that we have within the technical pre-sales practices, the service offerings that we stand up, from education to professional services to kind of managed services. It's all there to support partners to deliver technology solutions to meet business outcomes. And it sounds a bit twee, it's corporate kind of language, but really if you're a partner and you can address more business opportunity whilst minimizing cost, and there's the 4 key tenets of that trusted advisor strategy: a reduction of cost, growth of top line, growth of profit, growth of customer satisfaction. If you can support the partners in doing that, that's gonna buy loyalty in terms of the competitive distribution landscape. And everything that we invest in from a technical community point of view within the continuum there is designed to tick one or more of those 4 tenets of that value proposition strategy, which is to be a trusted advisor to the partners.
I mean, that pays off regularly for us, even on the day-to-day. So on a regular basis, we're getting asked by different partners, how does this work with this solution, or we need to run this software on it. The beauty of having this wide technical community where we're not individually siloed and only see people who deal with the technology that we deal with means that we have those relationships, and we're able to leverage those relationships to, and as you say, drive that trusted advisor message. It
works well because you've got the breadth, so we have the breadth across the vendors of the offerings, so we can look at things down a solution lens and understand what the competitive solutions are from multiple vendors, how they integrate, how they fit together. But we don't do that at the expense of losing the specialisation, the depth of knowledge. And we're fortunate that the investments that the business have made now for a number of years in this technical community allow us to be to have that broad lens of the market in terms of where it's going, but also what our partners need in terms of depth of specialisation, understanding, and to be able to be explicit around solution design and accurate more than anything. We're able to balance those 2 things in terms of the services we provide through the technical engagement continuum.
Cool. And talking about that continuum that happens to be up on the screen around us, one of the big elements on there and the kind of value add that we offer across vendors and across a number of vendors is around the installation, management and configuration. We've kind of gone a step further with the Dell Technologies relationship in terms of that, and we've been certified to deliver co-delivery on Dell's behalf. So Jake, I guess, do you want to touch on what that actually means?
Yeah, absolutely. So the co-delivery program that we're signed up to with Dell Technologies is essentially TD SYNNEX delivering pro deploy services that you would buy, the regular type of SKU that you would buy from Dell Technologies, and us, our engineers, delivering that service on behalf of Dell for our partners. So the benefits of that, obviously, we've got partners that will deal with us for just Dell, but more increasingly, we've got partners that will deal with us across many vendors, across the IT landscape, right? So, and our installation team is a multi-vendor team. We have skills across upwards of, I wouldn't even like to guess how many vendors we have installation skills on. And partners will have dealt with us across many business lines and will know our services practice quite well. So being able to get in there nice and integrated with Dell, so with the support of Dell, we've done all the training across multiple product lines to be able to do those installation services. But the benefit for the partners is they're dealing with people that they know and trust, and we've built relationships, right? It can sometimes be a little bit scary for some partners dealing directly with a vendor, especially on something as potentially niggly and hugely customer satisfaction issue territory as installation can be, right? So knowing that they've got a trusted partner in TD SYNNEX that's fully capable of delivering those, owning the project and the statement of work around that potentially for them, it takes a lot of the risk out for the partners. And again, another thing going into trusted advisor that helps us become a little bit better integrated with our partners, and again sees both of us win in the long run because of that.
Yeah, I guess there's the other side of it as well, where we speak to a lot of partners on behalf of Dell, pretty much driving from that authorized partner stage, trying to help them achieve what a metal tier, whether that be gold, platinum, whatever it may be within the Dell partner program. And one of the big things in the Dell partner program is services revenue.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, by having that trust and that relationship, that's pretty much stage one. You want to feel comfortable with who you're working with. But by having those relationships, we are also able to facilitate partners working towards their own certification to deliver similar skills. Because if you're a partner and you know the install team already, that shadowing, that mirroring of the work is almost a lot more straightforward and a lot less. There's a lot less friction than doing it with someone you've never met, maybe from a vendor who's like, stay away, I'm doing what I need to do and I'm going to get out of there.
Yeah, the reality is some of the larger partners will have fantastic relationships into vendors. That's a lot more difficult for smaller partners. So as you say, being able to support our authorised, even our gold level partners on the Dell side into that services engagement where they're not going to have skills a lot of the case in-house, being able to support them there and enable their growth into further tiers, which obviously for them means better rebates, getting things of that structure, being able to support them is again, it's just a huge amount of value that we can add into the partner scale.
And partners have traditionally gone with the path of least resistance, right? And with the focus from Dell around services revenue in all of those metal tiers, the path of least resistance always becomes sell the products with the highest services revenue attached. So partners need to be doing this anyway, right? So we're just making it easier for them, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a continuity there, I suppose, between the projects, because typically we're working with the partners around the pre-sales design of those projects, so there's a continuity in terms of delivery, so we can hand over those projects. But also, I think the final point around the benefit to the partner of using those pro-deploy services is, if they're not doing it, someone's doing it, and that potentially is a competitive third party. So by delivering it using the TD SYNNEX investments through the co-deploy program, co-delivery program, they're kind of showing up and maintaining their kind of the hold on that customer and their position as a trusted advisor into that customer.
Yeah, and we can flip it the other way to a certain extent, where if customers are using third-party deployment services, any issues, customer sat issues, system failures, ultimately will be reflected back at the third party. So by using official pro deploy or through co-delivery, that clears that up because it's been delivered to the standard of Dell themselves. One thing that's kind of central to all of this then, so what kind of special hoops do partners need to jump through to make use of all these facilities we've got here, co-delivery, the technical community, the engagement continuum?
So I don't mind taking that. We are working, so essentially any partners that we're working with in a strategic fashion around the Dell Technologies portfolio, i.e. they're spending money with TD SYNNEX in the UK. The majority of what you see here within the continuum is value-added cherry on top in terms of the engagement with the partner. So access to specialists and consultants in the Dell Technologies technical practice is something that we provide, and we made those investments for our partners. So there are no charges for our partners out there that are listening who want to speak to you or speak to Jake or any of the wider team or any of the non-Dell Technologies technical expertise that we have. That's included as part of the gig. Likewise, use of the Business Solution Centre is an investment that we have, and typically is free of charge to partners that are working with TD SYNNEX in a strategic fashion. The point at which it becomes chargeable typically is at the point at which we receive the PO for the solution, and then it's about moving into the deployment phase, whether that's deployment of solution, we're deploying some sort of education or training service, or we're adding managed services to wrap around the solution that the customer has bought. Typically, those kind of services are fee dependent, and we expect that the partners will charge the consumer of the service for those services. Therefore, that happens on a project basis or a day rate, but they're typically chargeable engagements with a GP opportunity for the partner to make a markup and make incremental profit on the deal. So that's typically how we would face off to a partner with the services that we've got on there.
So in terms of partners just wanting to get involved with us and putting in the time to get to know us and deal with us, other than the stuff that they would still need to get the customer to pay for anyway, there's no charge or specific program they need to be signed up to, right? It's just engage with us, let's have a conversation, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about the day-to-day, an opportunity that a partner might reach out for pre-sale support from yourself on, the typical route to engagement would be they engage either their internal account manager or the BDM on their account from the Dell Technologies side, and then that process of engagement will go through. So myself will be notified about the request for help. If it's a potential demonstration opportunity, it'll come through to myself. I will liaise with the customer and potentially their end user to find a date and time and scope the opportunity of what needs demonstrating, what we have already spun up to show, which is, we've got a lot of things out of the box that Nick has set up ready to go whenever to go, or if it's something a bit more bespoke and we need a little bit of time to set that up, we'll sort of scope together how long we need to set that up, and then we can find a date whereby the customer and the end user can come in to do that. Bit easier on the pre-sale side, right? If you send over what we're looking at, we can look to get a call set up where appropriate with our internal resource, with the partner's resource to understand the opportunity and look at get something built for that. But again, it's no different from the traditional sales cycle really in terms of engagement. Go through the account manager, go through the BDM, and they will engage the pre-sales community.
Perfect. Well, that was all I really wanted to cover off today, guys. So thank you very much for making the journey from the cold and wet north with me over the last couple of days. And I'll see you back up there soon, I guess. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
Cheers, Rick.
Cheers.